Because the biggest misconception that we have around being paid is we have to work hard for it. Like that is something that we all heard our parents say, our family say, the world say, society say, our teachers say, whatever it is, right? Like it always is connected to hard work. More money is always connected to hard work or more work. Welcome back to week 6. Recovering a sense of abundance. This week was interesting in terms of really honing back into money mindset, because that's really what it is about in this week. Well, abundance in general, but obviously that's where our head goes first, right? Abundance, money, because that is what we think we need to up when we feel lack in that department. Instead of trying to manifest the actual thing that we would like to have, that we would buy with money. And here it says, this week you tackle a major creative block, money. You are asked to really look at your own ideas around God, money, and creative abundance. The essays will explore the ways in which your attitudes limit abundance and luxury in your current life. You will be introduced to counting, a block busting tool for clarity, and right use of funds. This week may feel volatile. And that's exactly what it did to me. I was only able to see, not only able, but like most of the time I was only able to see the lack thereof. And if you have been watching for a while, you are following me on other platforms, you know that I am leaving Bali and that I need to take my dog with me. And it's quite expensive and complicated to do so. If you want to support us, the GoFundMe link is in the description. Every dollar helps. Like we are not even 1/3. We reached about 1/3 now of the goal. So there's still some way to go. And yeah, it's obviously absolutely important for me to take my dog with me. So that was what was on my mind mainly. I have to pay more like payments to the agency that is helping us to make it happen for MJ to leave Bali. Again, it's quite complicated. And so there are more and more payments, and money is not coming in fast enough for me to make all of these payments. So there were like some struggles around that, and I had to lend money, and yeah, it's all a bit jarring, because the entire thing of me leaving Bali already like does a lot to me emotionally. So when it comes to this, it was interesting to read things like, maybe God would feed and clothe us in a pinch, but painting supplies, a museum tour in Europe, dance classes, God's not about to spring for those, we tell ourselves. We cling to our financial concerns as a way to avoid not only our art, but also our spiritual growth. Our faith is in the dollar. I have to keep a roof over my head, we say. Nobody's going to pay me to be more creative. We are awfully sure about that. It really goes into the disbeliefs that we have around money and what it is there for. And it is usually connected to beliefs that we feel like we are not worthy of being paid for the things that we are doing creatively, because it doesn't feel like work. Because the biggest misconception that we have around being paid is we have to work hard for it. Like that is something that we all heard our parents say, our family say, the world say, society say, our teachers say, whatever it is, right? Like it always is connected to hard work. More money is always connected to hard work or more work. So here it says, we are operating out of the toxic old idea that God's will for us and our will for us are at opposite ends of the table. Thinking like this is grounded in the idea that God is a stern parent with very rigid ideas about what's appropriate for us. And you'd better believe we won't like them. This stunted God concept needs alteration. This week in your morning pages, write about the God you do believe in and the God you would like to believe in. For some of us, this means, what if God's a woman and she's on my side? For others, it is a God of energy, and so on and so forth. So I thought that was really interesting because in general, the morning pages up until that point were just about what freely comes through me. And writing about the God that I believe in and the God that I would rather believe in for like 7 days straight, every morning, revealed a lot of things about like what I believe in, what I want to believe in, where there are blocks where I see like, okay, this is what I believe God is doing for me, but it requires me to do certain things, or it requires me to, whatever it is, step out of my shadow, which is still something that I believe, because at the end of the day, I believe I'm partially God and I am doing the work just as much. But I did uncover a few things where I was like, oh, interesting. Why do I believe that this needs to happen before God helps me? Why do I believe that this needs to happen before God supports me? So it was interesting to go into this and uncover a lot of these things in my morning pages this week. So it really goes around trying to not believe that God is toxic. If you're still dealing with a God consciousness that has remained unexamined since childhood, you are probably dealing with a toxic God. What would a non-toxic God think of your creative goals? Many of us equate difficulty with virtue and art with fooling around. Hard work is good. A terrible job must be building our moral fiber. Something, a talent for painting, say, that comes to us easily and seems compatible with us, must be of some sort of a cheap trick not to be taken seriously. On the other hand, we give lip service to the notion that God wants us to be happy, joyous, and free. On the other hand, we secretly think that God wants us to be broke if we are going to be so decadent as to want to be artists. Looking at God's creation, it is pretty clear that the Creator itself did not know when to stop. There is not one pink flower or even 50 pink flowers, but hundreds, thousands. Snowflakes, of course, are the ultimate exercise in sheer creative glee. No two alike. This creator looks suspiciously like someone who just might send us support for our creative ventures. So I loved this thought of everything is on planet Earth in abundance. I'm just looking outside again into my view of Bali and all of the greenery, and thinking about all of the walks that I have with MJ, and the beaches that I'm at with her sometimes, and that it comes in abundance, and people come in abundance in all shapes, in all sizes, in all colors, in all ways of seeing life, living life, loving life. Animals, like we still discover animals that we haven't even seen before in our lifetime as human beings. So everything comes in abundance. Why do we believe that there's a lack of money then? Why do we believe that there's a lack for us to receive money? Specifically for something that is creative, when we are part of the creation of the ultimate creator. For that, I just want to read the principles to you again. 1. Creativity is the natural order of life. Life is energy, pure, creative energy. Number 3, when we open ourselves to our creativity, we open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us and our lives. Number 4, we are ourselves creations, and we in turn are meant to continue creativity by being creative ourselves. Number 5, creativity is God's gift to us. Using our creativity is our gift back to God. Number 6, the refusal to be creative is self-will and is counter to our true nature. So therefore, if we really believe that God's gift to us is being able to be creative, and using this gift and being creative is our gift to God, why would God stand in the way of us doing that? Why would God then not support us financially to do that? Obviously, it has to be authentic. It has to be what we want to do. It has to be unblocked by the beliefs that we have surrounding these things. But if we go down the rabbit hole of understanding why we might not believe that statement, we will figure out what is in the way and blocking us to be able to believe that statement. Because if we would fully believe that statement, then there would be an abundance for us to do all of the things creatively that we want to do. Because it also says, as you expect God to be more generous, God will be able to be more generous to you. And what we really want to do is what we are really meant to do. So that goes down to, is that really coming from your soul that you want to do this? Do you want to be an artist because you crave doing it, because your soul wants to express itself? Or is it an ego-driven want? And then it also says, all too often we become blocked and blame it on our lack of money. This is never an authentic block. The actual block is our feeling of constriction, our sense of powerlessness. Because it continuously says, art requires us to empower ourselves with choice. At the most basic level, this means choosing to do self-care. When we love ourselves more, we eventually come to a point of realizing what it is that we love doing authentically, because we take time to spend with ourselves, to get to know ourselves. And then there will be nudges that show us and tell us what to do and what our soul wants to experience, what our soul wants to do, what our soul wants to create. And this is then when we will figure out step by step what we're good at, what comes easy to us, what brings us joy, and therefore will bring joy to others if we share it. And when we don't do that, we feel powerless, because our soul knows that there is something we're meant to do, but because we don't take the time to figure out what that is, we can't tap into the power that underlyingly is there. Because our human is keeping us from tapping into that power of our soul. Because our human keeps us in check when it comes to the belief system that society and our upbringing taught us. When we put a stopper on our capacity for joy by anorectically declining the small gifts of life, we turn aside the larger gifts as well. What gives us true joy? That is the question to ask concerning luxury, and for each of us, the answer is very different. So that's what I mean. You have to go down into figuring this out. And then it goes deeper into money mindset. In this week, you discover how you spend your money. And there are many different exercises, like completing sentences like, people with money are blank. Money makes people blank. I'd have more money if blank. My dad thought money was blank, and so on. And then you are meant to find pretty or interesting rocks, 5 pretty rocks, because that is natural abundance, and 5 flowers or leaves also for natural abundance, to just signalize to your consciousness and your inner being that abundance is everywhere. So I went on a walk with MJ. I picked 5 different flowers and stones, and just really got into figuring out what is blocking me from believing that I can be paid for being creative. What is blocking me from believing that I'm good enough to be paid for being creative, even though I haven't been to art school, for example, right? I've always did something creative. Like I did so many things. I have been a content creator in so many fields. I was a photographer. I was directing music videos. I did set design. I created mood boards and scripts for music videos. And I did image building for the musicians that I managed when I was an artist manager, and so many things without realizing that I have a gift for all of these things. I was just like, there's no one else doing it. We don't have the money to pay anybody. So I guess I'm going to do it. And now being on the other side of like that many versions of myself, I'm like, I have been so creative my entire life, but I did it for somebody else all the time instead of doing it for myself. So even now, like looking for remote jobs for this transition of being a mindset coach into being an artist myself, I felt the struggle of believing that I'm worthy of being paid for remote jobs that are creative in whatever way, because I'm like, I've never did this before, so like I will not be good enough. But then I was like, but you have so much experience in so many lanes. So when I went into the submissions and the applications for several jobs and looking through things to upload to show like what I have done, I realized, man, you did a lot of things. And these things that I produced look amazing. So just going through these things as well just made me realize of like, I think I'm much further in this journey of having achieved certain things than I thought I was. So maybe that's just also encouragement for some of you out there, that just look at the stuff that you created and really look at it, right? Even stuff from like years ago. Like I looked at stuff that is like 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, and I'm just like, that is dope. Like that was great. And back then I was just like, nah, I don't know. So it's just really interesting to look at the stuff sometimes as a new version of yourself and realize that you indeed are creative and you've been an artist all along, right? So that was an interesting week. Like every week, I am excited. I also, for that week, I recorded a video for my artist date. So look out for that. It's going to come in a few days. And let me know if that's something that you want to see more of, like me doing that every week for my artist date, that I'm going to take you with me. That is also a little bit more accountability for me to actually do the artist dates, because that was something that I have been lacking on a little bit. So yeah, let me know how you like it. And yeah, that's it for now. I see you next week. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe, comment, like, let me know in the comments what you would like to see more of, what you enjoyed me talking about, and if there's anything else that you would like me to cover in this week's, or more videos of like more things, more insight or whatever. I would love to know. And thanks again. I appreciate you, and I see you next week.